Hi, welcome to this online workshop with me, Mel Smadi. This workshop will be a guided lesson on drawing your self-portrait in freehand, encouraging a confident approach to drawing. I will take you through my personal methods when creating my self-portraits using observation and fluid lines to create portraits that are expressive and have a sketchy look to them. What you need is an A3 sheet of paper, 70 GSM is thin enough for sketching, 2 pencils in different weights. I'm using the 2B and 9B from Derwent. You can use any pencils you have, I'll show you the difference in a minute. And an eraser, but this is optional. I'm using a regular one, which I do not recommend. If you can get your hands on a putty eraser from an art store, that would be much better and cleaner. The difference in weight on a pencil is the lead tip's intensity. 2B would have a softer mark, and as you go up it becomes darker and thicker. You can manage this more by the pressure you apply on the pencil, so even if you don't have another variation, consider using your hand as your tool. While drawing freehand, we're going to be doing a lot of light fluid lines that circle around the object, in this case the face. It would be good to spend some time getting your hand used to this free motion. We're also going to create a lot of circles, ovals, and triangles as basic shapes to complete the face. Before we begin, let's talk about seating position. Decide which angle you want to draw and prop up a mirror at the closest distance and make sure it's stable. I'll be drawing my profile, so my mirror is far on my right. Your sheet of paper must be at an angle or straight up. I'm using an easel which is on my eye level. If you don't have an easel, use your arm to hoist it up at a comfortable angle. Don't place the sheet on a flat surface because you'll lose the perspective. You need to be facing your sheet directly to get the accurate view and angle. Only your head should be moving back and forth. I would recommend holding a profile pose for your head. It's easier in that you can see more pronounced lines on your nose and the edge of your face. Working on a straight portrait could be a little complicated as you try to build the whole face. Looking at the sheet, we want to get the portrait on as much surface as we can without going overboard or too small. We're going to create guides that will help us estimate the proportions we'll be working with. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line right at the top which will indicate the top of my forehead. The space above would be used for my hair. Next, I'm going to draw a simple wide oval for the face. This should give me an understanding of how much width I can use without getting too close to the edge of the sheet. The bottom of that circle will probably be the bottom of my chin. And I say probably because as we start filling out the face, the proportions will start to shift slightly. Now the easiest next thing to do is draw a vertical line in the center. But technically the center of your face is in the middle of your nose. Since we're drawing a profile, then I would just move that invisible line to 1/3 of your head. Since this is the wider side of your face, your ear would be somewhere around here. We can also draw a horizontal line in the center, and that's roughly somewhere around where your nose is as well. With drawing, there's a lot of time spent on observing your subject or object. Really get a sense of where the details are in relation to each other. Where do they meet? Where do they end? Without using a measuring tool, use your eyes. Somewhere in this cross section is the tip of my nose. I did draw the line slightly over the center. I can correct this as I go along. You can also find other lines in your face, like the line across your eyebrows or through your lips. And you'll notice I'm drawing these lines with a slight curve. This is just to create some kind of fluidity, keeping in mind that our heads are a circular form. The next thing I'm going to do is just slightly make circle guides on my features where I see things falling, like the width of my nose, my cheekbones, my eyes, my Cupid's arrow, my lips. Again, we're using fluid light lines to create that freehand gesture. We'll go down to the chin and towards the jaw. Take a step back and assess. Then come back and define your lines gradually. Again, this requires a bit of observing how near or far they lie from each other using the existing guides we've created. After this point, keep taking a step back to see if what you're making looks proportional and moving in the right direction. Another easy step is to start again from your forehead and tackle the shorter side of your face, which is the left part on the sheet. From the tip to the outer part, it almost forms a triangle, so go ahead and draw that in. Try to define the right side as well. I'm going to move down to my nose and create a line from the width of the nostril. This should give me an indication where my eye and lip meet. My nostril meets my eye almost barely, while my lips draw a line 1/3 into my eye. I'm going to go over these shapes and define them more using the lines that I see on my face. There's another triangle that's created in the Cupid's arrow, so use that shape to help guide you. You can start defining that outer part by looking at what's curving inward and outward using your existing guides. The corner of your eye curves inward while the cheekbone curves outward. My cheekbone down to my chin is relatively a straight line with a tiny curve right before my chin. That's my jaw. Let's go into the eyes and start defining these shapes more. First using basic ovals and then adding more lines for the lid and eyebrows and lens. Use the guides that you created earlier, like the circle on your cheekbone or the line you drew across for your eyebrows. Again, we're going back to define the features we're happy with, but take the time to step back and assess your work as you move along. Keep your lines confident and fluid. I'm now using the 9B pencil to define my shapes even more with thicker lines. Remember, these lines are used on the shaded parts of your face, so areas like your eyebrows, your hair, the inside of your nostrils, parts of your lens, the crack of your lips, and anywhere else that is dark. I don't usually use an eraser, but this time I feel like some existing lines are ruining the portrait for me. So I'm going to erase them, and I'm going to go over the areas I feel need improvement, like the outside of my face and my nose. Keep going back and define the details with confident lines without spending too much time on this. The idea is that you become used to working from observation, even if it looks off at times. I'm going to go over the portrait and add some shading. This will help bring the image more depth. The shading can be done in a number of ways. I'm mostly using hatching and cross-hatching. Now this is optional, but I'm using a piece of charcoal and oil pastel to go over the dark areas and make them even more pronounced, just to give it a little bit more contrast and drama. Feel free to play around with whatever material you have. We reached the end of this workshop. I hope you found it useful. Keep practicing and creating quick sketches of your face. Find methods that work for you, because it's the methods that lead to your personal style. Thank you for watching.